Too many people are bidding on exact match campaigns on Amazon, which makes PPC more expensive on exact match bids. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. And in this video, I'm going to break down why you should be spending more money on Amazon's PPC, broad match, and auto. And to prove this quickly, I'm just going to go into a random campaign generation. I did not do this in advance. We're going to do this on the fly, and I'm going to pick a random product. Let's go with this nice soap bar right there. Okay, so I just launched this. This is a single soap variation. We're selling it for $9, even though we sell the 4-pack for $18. And in here, we're going to go to manual targeting, and we're going to go to keyword targets. And in here, we're going to take a couple of observations, right? So observation number one. Whatever keyword suggestions come up on a product, you will see the bid on broad match be substantially less. And we see that right here, right off the bat. Essential oil, broad match, 91 cents, exact match, $1.39. And you see it typically just like that on every single product. Dr. Squatch soap, $1.35 on broad, exact match, $3.89. Example after example, shampoo bar, almond oil. That one's actually an exception. Almond oil is lower on the exact. But almost every single one of these, bar soap, $2.10 on the broad, $7.84 on exact. Soap, $1.05 on the broad, $10 on the exact, for crying out loud. And there is a lot to break down onto what is going on here, but to simplify it in the highest level of terms, everybody is overbidding exact match. This is an opportunity for you, Mr. PPC guy, watching this video, because you can take advantage of this by setting up an increasingly higher amount of broad match and auto campaigns. Now, the challenge that most people have is they don't go back and add negations to their broad and auto campaigns. So this is why it's lazier to set up an exact match and not set up the broad and the auto. So for example, they would set up just the exact match like this, turn off the broad one there, and hit launch campaign and call it a day. Very easy to manage that. However, because it's a higher ACoS, it's going to be worse results. So instead of just doing that, granted, there are times when you do want to do exact match. I want to be very clear. But broad match overall is underbidded. It's undervalued. And anytime you're a marketer looking to make your dollar go farther, you take your dollars and you push it to where others are undervaluing it. Just like real estate, you buy the land where it's most sought after and you'll see prices spike there. But if you go off the beaten path a little bit, you can still find a good property. You just won't be downtown center front property, right? And so with that in mind, what you would do then, instead of setting up the exact as you would set it up as a broad, you'd hit save, but you'd have to come back once a week and add in negative keyword targeting. So if I was advertising, we'll go back to the full screen here. If I was advertising this is the way glass, I might know that steel terms are never going to convert, right? So I've got the force is strong with that in this hand, and I've got a glass in this hand. I may know that certain terms will never work for one of these products or the other. For example, the word tumbler might work with this steel cup, but it will never work with this beer glass, even though they're the same size, roughly, can hold about the same amount of liquid, roughly. And so we know that the term unbreakable will never work for the glass. We're going to add that to the negations. The word unbreakable will work, potentially will work with the stainless steel tumbler. So when we go to set up the autos and the broads, we're going to come back and review the search term reports. So let's go ahead and go back to the campaign manager. Now, I have spent over $800,000 of my own money spending on Amazon PPC on my own account, and I'm going to show you that chart so you believe me. And we're going to go, and I just spent $55,000 just in the last 30 days alone. And in the lifetime, we'll let that pop up, $808,000 in spend, $1.7 million in sales. So this is my own account, Age of Sage. You can check it out yourself by going to amazon.com/ageofsage. Sell soaps, sell tumblers, sell all kinds of cool stuff, roses, smudge sticks, and more. I'm going to give all of my brands to my children when they come of age, and that's my why. That's what gets me up in the morning. So when we go to an auto or a broad match campaign, so what we're going to do next is you can filter this, or if you name your campaigns accordingly. So let's type in the word broad, for example, and then change that to last 30 days. And by the way, now that I noticed that on the lifetime, let's go back to lifetime for 1 second. I want to show you something. So I spent a lot of money when I first launched my gift box for women. So if we go back to my Sage store for a brief moment and go over to my spa gift set for mom. Now this product is seasonal. If you look at the BSR, it's all over the place over time, right? We go to the all time here, and so you can see that nice little spike. I got it to the top 700 sales rank in all of beauty in the first 4 weeks of launching this product. Got it to organic slot number 1 for the term gifts for mom going into Mother's Day. And I spent, I don't know, roughly $11,000 in PPC in the first 30 days. I generated $144,000 in revenue on this particular product. And $5,000 of that was spent on broad match gifts for mom. Broad match, not exact match, broad match. And and you can see like the campaign here, right? So over time, it was a $5,000 in the first 30 days, but here's the lifetime on it. You'll notice the ACoS on this particular campaign. I got to move my video to show it. 79%, pretty terrible if you're looking at it from this view. But remember, I was able to get it to position number 1 for gifts for mom going into Mother's Day in the first 4 weeks of it being launched. So I had a game plan. I had a high ACoS. It was actually much lower at the time during the Mother's Day rush, and I executed it very happily, right? So what I did is over time, I came back and I added negative targets, 27 negative keywords, all it took to make this campaign work for me, right? So best mom ever gifts, bonus mom gifts, expecting mom gifts. Some of these terms probably worked during certain times and other times not. Like I even negated the exact at one point, gifts for mom, negative exact right there. You can see that. And so the point I'm making is you can make a broad match campaign do phenomenal SEO work. You can make a broad match campaign do phenomenal ACoS as well. Although in that particular instance, it wasn't a good ACoS. It was a strategic ACoS. And so that's why a lot of time you'll hear it depends on your PPC answers whenever you're talking to experts. And that's because there's an exception to everything and what you want to do. All right, so just searching the term broad, right, in my own campaign structure here, in the last 30 days, I have spent $21,000 on broad, $47K in sales, 45% ACoS. Now, I did nothing of this in advance in preparation. Let's see what the ACoS is on exact, 60%. I spent $4,000 on this, $6,400 in sales. So even just that right there, a 15% difference on ACoS. I'm going to type in broad again and go back to what we had, 21K in spend. So that means I am spending more than three times as much on broad match than exact and getting a 15% ACoS reduction. That's big. That's really freaking big. All right, now let me unpack further. So I'm going to kind of sort some of this so you can see all the data a little bit better. Right, so here are our campaigns with broad match, 35% there, 40% there, 39 on the ACoS. Okay, and this one even included some videos. I mean, look at that. So I'm going to click into this particular campaign. This because it's my highest spend, and you can do negative keywords at the campaign level or the ad group level. It doesn't matter. It can be done either place. I sometimes forget which spots I put it in, and sometimes I double it up. So I have nothing on the campaign level. We're going to go down to the ad group level, and you can see here, I've added 44 negations here. And what's really interesting is there's no way to negate a broad match term. You can only negate exact or phrase, right? So that we're spicing it up a little bit here. So when you negate something, more often than not, you want to negate the exact match. And so that's what you'll see here. Very few phrases. I think only 1 or 2 out of the 44 are a negative phrase versus the exact. So how do we go about choosing these? All right, so now I'm going to pull my camera over to the bottom left. And what we're going to do is we're going to unfilter this. Going to sort it by spend. And by the way, I think running negations is like the core, most important PPC thing that everybody should be doing that almost nobody does. It blows my mind. It's the fastest way to reduce ACoS. A lot of opportunities. Sometimes when something gets negated, so we can see a negation right here, it's got a 41% ACoS. I actually don't want that negated. But if we go to a broader view to 65 days, we may see that ACoS would spike. In this particular case, no. So sometimes you want to undo a negation, right? Maybe you had data at one point that said you should negate this, but then later it got better, right? That sometimes happens. But Halloween bucket right there, it looks like my camera, there's no good place to put a camera when you're looking at negations. Let's try the top mid. How's that? All right, so in here, you can see $38 in spend, no sales. Great one for negation, Halloween bucket. Now, there are 736 terms, search terms coming up on all of this. 4,500 clicks, $10,000 in sales, 4K in spend. All of this off a broad match. It is more time consuming to run broad match. I'm going to be very clear. But if you could save 15% in ACoS, is it worth the extra hour a week? I think so, right? Let's impact that a little bit. So if we have a 15% ACoS, let's go back to the actual campaign right here. All right, so let's type broad, and we'll just do last 30 days just to impact this. Okay, and we're going to pull out the calculator. We're going to type in what the 15% ACoS difference would make, right? So trying to figure out how to set the formula up here, right? So if $21,000 is a 45% ACoS, let's just times 21,500, right? Times that by 0.15. That's $3,200 a month in PPC savings. Most of you aren't even paying your PPC agency $3,200, right? And this one thing could reduce PPC spend on an account of my size, right? $1 million account, more than $1 million account, and $3,200 in PPC savings per month just on one technique. 15% ACoS difference between broad and exact, $3,200 monthly savings. Times that by 12, and that's $38,000, just over that. All right, so we've impacted it. We're showing the impact of it. So then how do we go about doing this? Well, first of all, I need to make sure I unnegate the one term that was working. Let's see here. It was Halloween gift basket. So we're going to go back and unnegate that one and see if we can find it and remove that from the negations. Archive. Yes, please. All right. So we did that. And in here, we're going to look down and see if there's anything else coming up. Halloween teacher gifts, ironically, 49% ACoS. So it is on the higher than our average, but it's still pretty decent. Some things like Halloween gift basket for women at 100% ACoS deserves to be a negation. We'd come in and add that as an exact. Again, I normally do exact match negations. 120% there, good, right? This one was 0 sales, good negation, right? So we're seeing a theme with the word teacher show up again and again. We're going to add these as negation. We want those to, let's see, am I doing this right? Hold on. That one was fine, but why did the other one not work? Let's type in teacher and look at the filter and take a look at this. So sometimes if you don't have enough data on the negations, you can type in a keyword like this and ascertain it overall. So we're on the higher side at 56%. So sometimes Halloween teacher gifts will work, but teacher Halloween gifts will not, right? It doesn't make sense, right? Sometimes, but a couple of orders here and there can make the difference on the ACoS. So Halloween teacher gift, Halloween teacher gifts, those work. So we're going to unnegate those. And unfortunately, you can't unnegate it from this step. So we got to go back to the negative targeting, type in that like that, and we're going to archive it in. So this is the maintenance, right? Like you might be asking yourself, why would I be showing you the re-addition of a keyword or the negation of a keyword? And quite frankly, it's because I think a lot of people just underestimate the value of what we just did, right? And there's a lot of value to being able to negate keywords and hold them, right? Now, a couple other best practices. I typically only put 1 to 5 keywords in a campaign like this. Almost all of these are related to Halloween, right? Very Halloween focused. And as soon as Halloween's over, which just happened, we're going to have to come in and mess everything up again, right? So there's going to be some data that goes back and forth that changes, and seasonality can affect things as well. So what you might lower the bid on at one time, you might negate at a different time. You might raise the bid at a third time, right? So those are things that happen when you're managing PPC. It goes up and down. It's a seasonal thing, certain days of the week. So with that in mind, that's my tutorial on why you need to spend more on broad match, right? I impacted it, 15% ACoS savings, $38,000 in annual savings just for this one technique on my account. That's a big deal. It's a really big deal, and it can be very, very dramatic. So, but there are other things you can do, other PPC techniques. So I'm going to have a video here with PPC hacks and another video here with the new day parting budget rules that you can set up. And you want to check these videos out next, because those will walk you through some additional ways to lower your ACoS and grow your sales.